Hello heroes, my name is Cartel and welcome to my channel where I talk about flesh and blood. So this is my second video after my long hiatus and oh boy, we have a really interesting topic to talk about today. But first, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel so that you can support my future content and my other endeavors related to flesh and blood. So this morning there was a controversial post in the Flesh and Blood TCG subreddit. It says, "I hate what's happening to the Philippines FaB community and it's not even their fault," by General Gobbledygook, and it was submitted 12 hours ago from the time that I shot this video. Now I'm not gonna discuss or analyze the post here in this video. I will link it down here in the description so that you can formulate your own opinions about it. But what I would do instead is to remind all of you of a very important thing we need to consider when it comes to the game and its community. If you love Flesh and Blood, then you should love your local game store twice as much. It's really simple to say, but in practice, it's very complicated to do. But it's necessary. Your local game store is a very important part of this game ecosystem. LSS comes up with a product, someone else manufactures the product goes to the distributor gives the product to the local game store, and that's how you get the product in your hands. That's how you get to enjoy the product. Without your local game store, it's gonna be very hard for you to get your product and enjoy it. The secondary market alone cannot provide services that local game stores can. Relying on the secondary market alone means not being able to experience any TCG to its fullest. The secondary market cannot provide a venue or a space to play your game or hold your events. The secondary market cannot provide a shelf or any ready-to-pull products out from the shelves. The secondary market cannot provide a sense of community to everyone coming in to enjoy the game or learn about it. So to reiterate, you have to support your local game store. I think I mentioned this multiple times in all of my videos, to support your local game store, and it cannot be stressed enough. I also try to say this whenever I get the chance. When someone asks me where they can buy products, can they buy it off Shopee, can they buy it through someone, is there a seller, I always tell them to check their local game stores first. It's also through your local game store where you will inevitably meet the people that you will end up playing the game for a long amount of time. There you will meet like-minded people who share the same values with you, people who share the same love for the game as you, and people who will help you encourage others to learn more about the game. You can't play this game alone. When you keep buying your game paraphernalia online, sure, you do interact with the seller, but there's still no replacement for actually having that experience of talking with a fellow player face to face, or actually players together face to face in a setting just like your local game store. Sometimes even in the middle of an official event or an armory, casual level events. Play with them, learn about their deck building, and maybe they can also learn about your deck, and just throwing stuff around, throwing ideas around. It's a really priceless experience to have. Now, there are also some people who have had negative play experiences in some local game stores, and you can't invalidate those things. If they felt it, it's their experience. You can't take that away from them. You can't dictate how they would feel about those experiences. But don't let that stop you from supporting all of your local game stores. I myself also have had some negative experiences in the long time that I've been playing TCGs, but that didn't stop me from supporting the game that I love and the people that I care about and the local game stores that I support wholeheartedly. Trust me, you'd find yourself supporting at least one local game store in your life. You'll find yourself loving one community built around that local game store. You'll find yourself coming back to that local game store because they always supply the products that you want. They always have stock. You'd always come back because you become friends with the owner, or you become friends with the other players and the locals around that area. It's an essential part of being in a trading card game community. That's why you need to support them. And in supporting your local game store, you're also supporting the other players as well. Because if that local game store in your area closes, where would the other players around that area play? There are some local game stores that are far apart from one another despite being the only ones nearest to each other. Sometimes players can't make the commute. Well, in the case of the Philippines, because commuting is hard here. In any case, that local game store serves to be like a central hub for all the players around that area, and sometimes they even become some sort of little colony. And that colony ends up evolving into something more like a friendship circle, which further elevates the experience that they feel towards the game. I know certain groups of players who have taken to calling themselves faction names and putting that faction name or emblem somewhere in their wardrobe, and then go to nationals or go to ProQuest, go to skirmish, representing themselves, representing which local game store they play, and representing which area they play and what values they represent. It's awesome. Once again, if you really love the game, if you really love Flesh and Blood, you really have to support your local game store twice as much, maybe 10 times as much even. If you're a Filipino Flesh and Blood player and you don't know where to start, I will be linking a directory of local game stores down below. I did not make this directory. This directory has existed before I even started playing the game, but you can use this in order to find out which local game stores are nearest to your area and which ones to support. That's it really. That's all the purpose of this video is, to drive home the point. If you really love the game, support your local game store twice as much. Now I know that there's some certain nuances that you can point out or throw around, and that's okay, and that's perfectly fine. I acknowledge that it's more complicated than this, but the core concept, the core thesis statement that I want to push is that you really have to support your local game store in order to keep the game moving forward. The beauty of it is that nurturing your local game store is also nurturing your players, which ends up nurturing the entire community's ecosystem, which is, frankly enough, what we all want for the game. That's it for now. My name is Adam Cartel. So long, heroes, and see you in the battlefield. Love the game. Love your local game store.